Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a tribute to two legendary ladies of 20th century classical music, courtesy of Australian Eloquence, the smartest single division of Universal. They're always doing great reissue stuff. And the two ladies in question are, you ready for this? This is a special one, folks. Ida Haendel, let's put it this way, and Nadia Boulanger. These are really, really major releases. Let's start with Miss Haendel. Ida Haendel was certainly one of the great violinists of the 20th century. She just passed away within the past year or two. It's really kind of amazing. I mean, she was 90-something. I mean, no one was sure 90 what, because she didn't know how old she was, because apparently when she was a child prodigy, her dad lied about her age to either make her older or younger or something so she could play the violin and have a career. It's an old story, and it's kind of funny. You know, we hear about it in connection with like Beethoven, and it's always amusing to hear that it's still an issue, even in the 20th century. Anyway, Ida Haendel was an amazing violinist, but her recorded discography is very spotty. I'm not sure why that's true. She never signed to a major label for long-term projects. And so, you know, her recordings date for her entire life. I mean, from the 1997 to 1930-something. So she made a tremendous amount of recordings, but they're all spread out. Perhaps her most famous recording is the Sibelius Violin Concerto with Paavo Berglund on EMI. She recorded the Sibelius like 4 or 5 times. There's one of them in here. There's also a box of her stuff on Supraphon, including like the Beethoven Violin Concerto with Carol Anschirl. Really a beautiful box of material, and I recommend it very highly. If you're looking for it, it's available. It's available now. It's a good deal. But this contains her complete Decca recordings. And Decca was, at least for her early career, her major label. She always had a pet dog that she named Deca, which I think is wonderfully appropriate for any number of reasons, both for what they did and for what they didn't do. But let's just go through here and see what's in the set. There are 6 discs, and they are, let's see, I'm going to just pull them out here, and we'll go through them one by one. First, let's see, the 78s. There were lots of, those are all 78s, mostly 78s. All right. First, lots of little violin googies. Now, I have to admit, I am not a big fan of cute little violin googies, but this is really devoted to a violinist, and that's what violinists played, little violin googies. You know, I mean, all those little encore things, but these aren't all little encore things, thank God. You get the Beethoven Violin Sonata number 8, Opus 30 number 3. That's good. Some Leclerc violin stuff that you may or may not care about. The Schubert Sonatina in G minor, and the Rosamund ballet music arranged by Kreisler for 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Those are the kind of googies that make me sort of crazy. Let's see, the Brahms Waltz in A major, arranged by Hochstein. Then you get 3 Fritz Kreisler pieces. You know, I mean, I kind of like Fritz Kreisler. I just wish he hadn't written so many violin googies. Well, he's a violinist. What can I do? And then the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto. This is with Malcolm Sargent. Oh, we remember him, don't we? And let's see, let's see, who's the pianist? Adela Katalski. Oh my gosh. And in the Beethoven Sonata, it's Noel Mutin Wood. Now, he's a legendary pianist, Mutin Wood. Of course, he was like 12 when he made these, but what the heck, you know? Next, let's see. Oh, this is a terrific disc. This is from around 1940-ish. You have the, let's see, Dvorak, some transcriptions of Slavonic Dance number 2, and the Humoresque, the obligatory Humoresque. But then you get the Dvorak Violin Concerto with the National Symphony Orchestra under Karl Rankel. You know, there were not that many recordings of the Dvorak Violin Concerto in 1940. It was not a work that was at all well known or respected. And this is an absolutely splendid performance of it. And it sounds pretty good. I mean, it's It's 1940s. It's not great, but you can certainly hear it, and the violin's very well captured, and it's a beautiful performance. It really is a beautiful performance. And you get the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto, again with the National Symphony Orchestra, under the inimitable Basil Cameron. I just like the name. Basil Cameron, like Basil Rathbone or something. Anyway, her Tchaikovsky is also... Whenever I talk about violin music, the cat goes crazy. It's that catgut thing. I tried to explain to her that catgut is not really catgut. It's sheepgut. But she's very loyal to her phylum on the tree of life. You know what I mean? She's against mammalian cruelty. She doesn't care whether it's a cat or a sheep, and it's named after a cat, which she finds offensive enough. So, I'm sorry, dear. Okay. Next, oh my goodness, an entire disc of little Gugis. This is the Gugi disc, disc number 3. Let's see what the orchestral thing is. Oh, the Meditation of Thais, from Thais, with Basil Cameron. And the rest is all like violin and piano stuff with Noel Mutin Wood in number 7. Let's see what number 7 is, because... Let's see. It's the Albénith Malagueña, arranged by Kreiser, and Ivor Newton piano in number 12, track 12, which is the Ravel Tzigana. Oh, God, I hate that. It's Ravel's worst piece of music. Absolutely horrible. And the rest is, Adela Katalska again in everything else. And it's music by Bazzini, Le Ronde des Lutins. Remember that thing? And Wieniawski, who is just irritating, and Sarasate, the Carmen Fantasy, that's fun, and the Zapateado, that's fun, and Zigeunerweisen, that's fun, and the Miller's Dance from Faya's Three-Cornered Hat, and the Dance number 1 from La Vida Breve. I love La Vida Breve, don't you? Do you know that opera by Manuel de Falla? The Short Life? It's a short opera about a short life. What happens in it is that girl is engaged, she sees her boyfriend dancing with another chick, and she drops dead. That's the opera. Fabulous. The Saint-Saëns introduction in Rondo Capriccioso. And something by Ibert. Le Petit Âne Blanc. Isn't that cute? The little black mule. White mule. It was a mule. All right. Disc 3. Disc 4. Oh, look, more Gugis. Well, we get, some Szymanowski. That's fun. The Horace Staccato by Dinikou. Ernest Bloch's Ahodah. Well, this is fun. Joseph Acharon's Hebrew Melodies. Some nice Jewish stuff. Good for you, Ida. I had an Aunt Ida, by the way. And my Aunt Ida was sort of out of her mind. She was a hoarder. She collected newspapers. Let's see, what else do we have here? The Nocturne and Tarantella by Szymanowski. Oh, the Stravinsky Divertimento after the Fairy's Kiss. And the Danse Russe from Petrushka. Bartok's Hungarian folk tunes. The Romanian folk dances. Another Zigeunerweisen. Can't have too many of those. And another Faya, dance number 1 from La Vida Breve. Can't have too many of those. And let's see, who's playing this? Alice Haendel is the piano. Must be her sister. And Adela Katalska, and Ivor Newton. Okay, that's disc number 4. Disc number 5. Now we jump way, way, way later into the 90s, when she made this marvelous recording with Vladimir Ashkenazy. This is great. She was still in terrific shape then, which is sort of amazing. You get the Szymanowski Myths. You get Inescues' Third Violin Sonata, the one in the character of Romanian folk music. This is an amazing, amazing piece of music. And more than just being glorious music, the actual score, I really urge you to go take a look at it. It's on IMSLP. It is a clinic, an absolute clinic on the authentic use of vibrato and non-vibrato textures. Presumably in Romanian folk music, but also, you could argue by analogy, in classical music, as it probably should have been done over the past 30 or 40 centuries. It's really, really cool. And, period instrument people particularly ought to study this piece, because it's exceptional how detailed the violin part is. It's absolutely fascinating. You could write a dissertation just on the notation of the violin part in this score by Inescues, and I really suggest you have a look. And let's see, Bartók's Rhapsody No. 1 and the Romanian folk dances. Can't have too many of those. Finally, the last disc is this. Remember this? This was all the violinists in the world play a tribute to, like, the Israel Philharmonic. And she's one of the violinists in the Vivaldi Concerto Grosso for 4 violins. That's the one that became the Bach harpsichord concerto for 4 extremely clangy harpsichords. Ba, da, 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 da. That's Vivaldi. It's repeated notes. And the Sibelius Violin Concerto with the Israel Philharmonic and Zubin Mehta. The orchestra is somewhat dimly recorded here, but again, Haendel is very well captured. And you get, this is unbelievable, the Lark Ascending. This has never been issued before. It was recorded but not attached to anything else, with Roger Norrington and the London Philharmonic. I wonder what he must have thought of that, because she wasn't giving up her vibrato, not for anything. And let's see, and then there's there's a talk about Ida Haendel, a little 6-minute talk. And that's the Ida Haendel collection. Rather marvelous, actually. And just a wonderful tribute to a great musician who never really got, I think, the discographic attention that she deserved. A lot of her EMI stuff is out now on Testament. There are some major releases too, like the Bruch Concerto and the Beethoven Concerto, and with Kubelik and some other stuff that's really, really first class, and her Bach sonatas and partitas for solo violin. And then there was the EMI stuff that she did with Berglund, and that's basically her discography. Really, it's out there, but it's all scattered around. So this box is marvelous. Next, however, the big however, Nadia Boulanger, a legend. We're talking serious legend. It isn't just that she taught everybody. Basically everybody in the 20th century who did not go to actually learn from Nadia Boulanger thought they should have. Really, really astounding, especially for the American school. Everybody was, Copeland and Piston and, the whole group, Philip Glass. Everybody took lessons from Nadia Boulanger. But beyond that, she was a conductor of the first rank and a musicologist and a musical scholar. She basically knew everything about everything. Everything, just everything. It was all in her head. She was a miracle, and you'll see when you see what's in here. You're not going to believe what's in here, because she was one of the most instrumental people involved in the revival of early music, and particularly early music in France. And she made a bunch of records. And who's seen these in 100,000 million billion years? This is 5 discs, all of her recordings for Deutsche Grammophon. The idea that it's taken this long, or Decca. Let me see, these are all Decca, but it's released under the Deutsche Grammophon rubric. They're all Decca recordings. Who knows what Universal is thinking. Anyway, you're not going to believe what's in here. You are not going to believe what's in here. And how good it is, because she did not take any shit, not from anybody. She demanded the best standards from everybody who worked with her students, her performers. She was just a class act, from beginning to end. Really amazing. So the first disc consists entirely of Monteverdi Madrigals, a selection of Monteverdi Madrigals sung by a group of her own choosing, and including Hugues Queneau. You boy. Remember Hugues. Maybe Hugues, I don't know. Hugues Queneau, the tenor, the French tenor guy, who's marvelous. And an instrumental ensemble of her own choosing. And you get, I'm not going to read them all off. You get like a whole batch of Monteverdi Madrigals, beautifully performed. Absolutely amazing. Really just great. And also part of the, I think, one of the Scherzi Musicali, yes. But wow, Monteverdi Madrigals. These were mostly recorded in like the 50s and the 40s and the 50s, late 40s, 50s. Really, but for when it was done, it's just unbelievable. No one else is doing that stuff. Next, French Renaissance vocal music. Yeah. I mean, seriously, you get Josquin, you get Mille Regrets by Josquin, you get Jeannequin, you get Claude Lejeune, you get Orlando de Lasso, you get, Guillaume Costelli, you get something traditional, you get, who else is in here? Anybody else? Yes, Claude de Sermicy, you get Jacques Mauduit. I mean, these are people we still haven't heard of. And she knew all of this music. She really did. And let's see what else. Oh, Pierre Bonnet. I mean, and these are all chansons of various types. I mean, really, absolutely amazing. I mean, Bonjour, mon coeur by Orlando de Lasso, Orlando de Lassus, if you want to do it in French. You know, Hi, my heart, or Farewell, my heart, depending on how you want to do it. No, bonjour is hello, right? Yeah. So, I mean, Noblesse Guy au coeur, Au joli bois, and the pretty woods, I guess. And you get this, there's a bird thing here. Yeah, Jeannequin, the Chant des Oiseaux, that's kind of famous. It's like, you know, bird things, people doing bird things. The entire career of Olivier Messiaen is summed up in this 7-minute work by Clement Jeannequin, who lived from, like, I don't know, 14-something to 15-something. I mean, wow. Unbelievable. Next, excerpts from Charpentiers Medea. Medea. Remember, we talked about Charpentiers Medea. The next time it popped up before William Christie and the Les Arts Florissants got their hands on the complete opera was in Jacob Druckmann's Prism, which sort of bases one of its movements on Charpentiers Medea. But here it is, Medea, a whole disc of it, led by Nadia Boulanger. Who's singing in this? Is it the same people? Yeah, it's sort of the same group. She put together a group of singers and players that were just, you know, it was like Leopold Stokowski and his symphony orchestra. Well, this is Nadia Boulanger and her ensemble. And it's whoever she picked, and she picked the best. Next, holy cow, Rameau. Rameau, the great Rameau. I mean, this is when no one was doing this stuff. This is so cool. I can't even tell you how much fun this was listening to it again. You know, not just for the fact that, you know, nobody was playing this and it was essentially, you know, an archaeological expedition that she was undertaking, but that she plays all this music with such style and panache. And, you know, she actually even used a harpsichord, and she played the harpsichord when she used the harpsichord. That was such a big deal because you couldn't find harpsichords unless you were Wanda Landowska, but she was living in Connecticut back then. She was up in Lakewood, you know, where, you know, I had friends. We used to hang out there in the winter next to Wanda Landowska's house, supposedly. Anyway, this has excerpts from, are you ready? Dardanus, Castor et Pollux, Hippolyte et Aricie, Les Indes Galantes, and Les Fêtes d'Ébé, and Arante et Cephise. I mean, who would have even heard of this stuff when she was making these recordings? And this is the first CD release on Deutsche Grammophon, which says that it was released on Decca when it came out. Again, who knows how that all shook out, but whoa. And finally, last but not least, we jump up a few centuries to Brahms. Brahms, of all people. We get the Neue Liebeslieder waltzes, the waltzes. Yes, I sang those when I was in high school. You get, let's see, this is all vocal music. 3 vocal quartets, O schöne Nacht, Sehnsucht, and Nachtens. Nächtens. Is there an umlaut there? Print is this big. Yes, Nächtens. And again, you get her ensemble with Hugues Queneau, and I can read all these singers because it's only 4 of them. Let's see, Fiore Wend, who knows? Nancy Waugh, Hugues Queneau, and Doda Conrad is the bass, with Nadia Boulanger, piano and conducting. And in piano number 2, in the Liebeslieder waltzes, is Jean-François, of all people, the composer, Jean-François. I mean, this is a unbelievable historical treasure treasure, and there aren't that many recordings with Nadia Boulanger conducting either, because again, she was a woman. She was sort of, a legend who everybody admired and respected, but she wasn't marketed. And that may have been her too, because, she had her standards and she had her view of those things, But wow, Nadia Boulanger, 5 discs of the most unbelievable repertoire. Talk about carving out a niche for yourself. Really amazing. Absolutely amazing. So here they are, Ida Haendel and Nadia Boulanger on Australian Eloquence. If you are a serious record collector, and I know many, many of you are, you're going to want these. You're going to want these right now. And I suggest you get them while you can. Keep on listening, folks. It's an amazing, amazing musical world out there, isn't it? Take care.